Hello everyone, it's Sherry Truler with Red Apple Auctions. Thank you for joining me today where we are going to be talking about SMURFs. That's right, SMURFs. Now, I do have a little bit of an explanation here, but I grew up in the 80s. The SMURFs were huge in the 1980s, and I don't remember necessarily watching their cartoon, but they were so commercialized it was impossible to not know who they were. There were dolls that came out. I think they were in Happy Meals. There was an Ice-Capades of SMURFs at one point. So if you were around in the 80s, you remember the SMURFs. And this Friday, the SMURFS Movie is coming out. And so I went over to thesmurfed.com, and you can see on the screen here what Sherry Smurf looks like. And you can do the same if you're interested in that. But today I'm going to be talking about a different kind of SMURF, and if you're in the event industry, you know what this is. But if not, you're going to be educated here. So if you ever hear the word when you're talking to your venue event manager, you know what she or he is talking about. It's called the SMERF Market, and it's spelled S-M-E-R-F. It stands for Social, Military, Educational, Religious, and Fraternal Meeting Groups. These tend to be smaller meeting groups, so instead of like association meeting groups or government meeting groups or corporate meeting groups, this kind of zeroes in on those smaller organizations, and they collectively are called the SMERF Market. So hypothetically, your auction may or may not be part of this SMERF Market. Let's just assume, for instance, let's pick on the American Industrial Hygiene Association, okay? That is an association. Let's assume that at their annual convention they decide to have a benefit auction, and they are going to try to raise money for their foundation, which, I don't know, funds their PAC, their Political Action Committee. Well, that's not a SMERF auction because the association itself is not part of the SMERF marketplace. But hypothetically, let's say that the Society of Decorative Painters decides to do something with at their event. Well, that's an educational group. That would be kind of like a SMERF auction. Or let's say, as I'm going to be doing here this coming weekend, at our family reunion, we will be doing a benefit auction to raise money for the collective expenses that is ongoing when you have a family reunion, to rent the venue, to buy the meat, some things like that. So that is that's a social group. So to go back here, that's a social organization that would fall into the SMERF marketplace. So just a little tidbit there, because if you're ever talking to your event planner at your venue and she mentions something about SMERF, I want you to be thinking about the right kind of SMERF. We're not talking about the blue SMERFs with the little white pants. That's not who we're talking about in this case. So for other great ideas on benefit auctions and for clarity in what you're doing, you can go over to redappleauctions.com. I do have a free gift, which you're looking at right now. It's called What Sold Like a Gem in 2010. And it's the top 100 items I sold for overvalue next year. It's a tool for your procurement committee. I'm Sherry with Red Apple Auctions. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, good luck to you in your charity auction.